Hi, all. This is Dr. J, streaming live from Long Island, New York, where the weather is a little bit chilly, where my office that I'm streaming live from is a little bit on the nippy side. It doesn't heat up as well as the rest of the rooms in my house, so I wear a little jacket here to keep me warm, sweater. My hands are cold when I type. It is cold. I think I need a portable heater. Rosie's with us tonight. Hey, Rosie.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Let me
And
move my chair over.
neither one of us is in the camera. That's not good. Now we're doing better.
Okay.
Spike is at a family affair of
Mhm.
some sort,
Mhm.
so he can't be here. And I had to change the time to 8:30 because I had an invitation to a party that I could not refuse. You can't refuse your 7-year-old grandson's party, right?
Yeah. Aw.
But the problem is there were 38 other 7-year-olds at the party. So the noise level, if I couldn't hear before the party, you can imagine how my hearing is now, Rosie. So in fact, I went to the ear, nose, throat doctor the other day
Mhm.
to open up my canals because I had so much doggone wax. I felt like I was clogged up there.
Oh
So
no.
he took his instruments, it was sharp instruments. And, he felt like a dentist drilling. He was so clogged.
Yeah.
Anyway, he opened it up, and now I hear better, I think. But then they gave me a hearing test, and I flunked the hearing test, high frequency sounds. So they want to sell me a hearing aid for about $10,000, or whatever it is. No, I don't know what it is, but I
Oh
wasn't
God.
interested. Here or there, if I get confused with a T or a P. Jefferson, we did have a good week. Sherry and Dustin, and so far we're starting to come in. How you guys doing? Are you guys all enjoying the success with amrn, CVM, athx? Three of the biotechnology stocks we've been talking about for the longest time. They all had a day today. Clarence is saying hi to Rosie because you know why? Because you're prettier than I am.
Well,
Hi,
thank you very
Clarence.
much. I think you're very pretty too.
I'm a pretty guy. Am I a pretty guy? All right. Anyway, I used to be a handsome devil, but that's I could say a lot of things about what I used to be. But what matters is what happens now. What's going to happen going forward. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter that when the Dow was 24,000, I was screaming out loud, 30,000 by the end of the year, and I'm pretty close. So a year ago, well, it wasn't. It was actually 12 months ago. So that was the Dow turned around Christmas, turned around on the day after Christmas. So that's when all the markets turned after a bad market drop of more than 20% in just about all the markets. So a little history. Dr. J was screaming out, "I'm the last of the bulls. Don't believe those bears. We're gonna see new highs. Don't worry about it." You still are handsome. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. That brought a little smile to my face. I still have a dimple? No, I don't know. Is the dimple still there?
It's still there. I see it.
I used to have a dimple. Um, you missed out on CVM, Clarence? You didn't miss it yet because the close was only about 7:41, so I think it's got a ways to run. What Buckhead Creek? What? Wear a JD cap and you look super. Okay. Um, Buckhead Creek, who do you like in the football games this week? Do you have any favorite team in the NFL? Or are you more of a college football guy? I'm going to give you a couple of my football picks for this week. I have the NFL sports book, the latest lines, and I'll give you three of my favorite teams this week. That if I were betting, I would bet on them. I'm going to keep track of how my football picks do for the rest of the season. So not only am I going to not recommend, I don't recommend anything, that's the wrong word. Not only am I going to share my brilliant and not so brilliant ideas with you on stocks, but I'm going to share my thinking on football. Cabinet guy, Patriots, that's my number one pick, cabinet guy. What are they, 3.5 over the Eagles? I think that's the latest spread that I saw, 3.5 over the Eagles. You know how the spread works, Rosie? The better team, and if you want the better team, as perceived by the sports fans, if you're in Vegas and you want to place a bet, you can't get even money no matter which team you pick, because everyone would pick the better team. So they compensate by making a line. The line meaning 3.5 points on the New England Patriots, they have to win by more than 3.5 points in order for you to win the bet. If they win by 3 points, you lose your bet. You follow that, Rosie?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's what's meant by the line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, am I corrupting you, Rosie? I don't want to corrupt you.
No, you're not corrupting me. Not at all.
Sports gambling is legal almost everywhere already, but not in New York.
Really?
New Jersey, it's totally legal. You can have sports betting. What is it? FanDuel, DraftKings, and all the casinos. They all have book. They all make sports book, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots. That is my best pick. Cabinet guy stole it away from me. Let me just go. Well, you know what? I'm going to put up all the lines in a little bit. But if anybody has a favorite team that they want to mention, go ahead. We're also going to feature those three stocks, ones I mentioned already: athx, amrn, and cel-sci. These are three stocks that are amongst my favorite, and one of them, amrn, had a big day yesterday and today due to a positive ruling by the advisory committee to the FDA, which means the FDA would be hard-pressed not to grant its recommendation. The vote was 16-0 for expanded label. And that's really great news for amrn stockholders. The stock went from about 16 last week, went to about 24 at the close today. So that's a 50% move up, if I'm doing my math correctly. 16 to 24. Rosie's good in math. She could check me on that. 16 to 24, 50%? 50% to 16 is 8. 8 and 16 is 24. 50% move. That's a move. CVM is breaking out. And I got a little triangle that I want to show you in a chart on CVM. And a similar looking triangle for athx. And I thought we'd be in that triangle a bit longer, but it looks like it might be breaking out as well. So we have consolidation, long-term consolidation in athx. And it looks like it might be coming to an end as we start moving back up. We want to go north. We don't want to go south. We want to go north.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. J is the last of the Uber bulls. I'm very bullish the market. They've been bullish the market a long time. I don't think the bull market is nearly dead. I think we will get another correction and then really zoom to real tremendous heights before we collapse. And there will be a major collapse, but not yet. Down the road. And those who have been saying, bear market tomorrow, have been saying bear market tomorrow for a very long time, have been wrong for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so how was your day, Rosie? How was your week? Anything eventful?
It's I work on the trade floor, so and I'm a temporary employee, but it's just a very interesting environment. I will say that I actually don't really feel comfortable with my coworkers. It's a peculiar environment. I don't think that they're honest is the thing, and that's a big thing for me, to be honest. But it's not necessarily the work; it's more of their personalities, and that's something that.
You know what it is about traders? They're interested in one thing: dollar signs.
Yeah.
That's it. There's the one problem with working on Wall Street
Mm-hmm.
is that the objective is to make money.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing of a humanitarian nature involved, like teaching. When I taught, I must have taught over the years. I taught from, let me think, I taught from 68, that's 1968, up until February of this year.
Wow.
So, and there were some years that I taught as many as 60 in a class, 60, in large lecture situations.
Okay.
And other years where I had many classes. So I would say I probably touched the lives of about 10,000 students over my career, just taking a guess.
Wow.
It's a long time to teach. And
Mm-hmm.
that's 32 and 20, about 40, about 30, 50, over 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, teaching. All right, anyway, when you're teaching, when you teach, you get satisfaction of a different nature than just making money.
Yeah.
So that's a decision you're going to have to make at some point in time. If you want to make tons of money, become a trader. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're a good trader, you'll make tons of money. If you're not a good trader, you'll be out. They
Yeah.
shut the door rather quickly. It's
Yeah.
Wall Street. What did Clarence say? It's about the almighty buck. Buckhead Creek says May or June 2021. Buckhead Creek, that's not far from my thinking. So what does that mean? Great minds think the same, or are we both wrong? I do think there will be a crash, and it won't be this year. It won't be 19. It won't be 20. Maybe the end of 21. So the timing, my timing is similar. It might go a little further than that. I think it might go to the end of 21.
Mm-hmm.
Dwyer agrees about that too. Okay. But prognostication is not just a science form, it's an art form. You have to kind of feel it and get the idea is of making a prediction is not just the cut and dry slide rule. You have to have a feel from being around and playing the market for ages, what's likely to happen, what's not likely to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And timing is everything in the market.
Yeah.
Election years are usually okay, Buckhead Creek says. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a major reaction to the election, no matter who wins, and no matter who runs, for that matter, because
Yeah.
it's totally unpredictable for both parties at this point who's going to be running. I think it's up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Will President Trump survive the impeachment, or will we have a President Pence running for office? So it's hard to say. I would say he's a favorite that he survives, but who knows? And then the Democratic field is really up for grabs. So any one of those, like I don't know how many there are now. Bloomberg just came into it. There's about 12 or 13 still running, right? The Democrats, and any one of them could emerge. I know that Biden is leading, and Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren as second and third, and Pete, Mayor Pete is fourth, because I can't say his last name, Buttigieg or something like that, and so on. And right down the line, Cory Booker and Kamala Harris, and who else is running? Any one of them has a chance.
Yeah.
And Bloomberg coming in, he even has a chance, coming in late. He's skipping the first four primaries and figures Super Tuesday he'll sweep. I don't know if he's figuring right, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, whoever is best for business, Clarence is what would like to come in. It's amongst the Democrats, I think Wall Street would like somebody like a more moderate Democrat. I don't think they'd like an Elizabeth Warren or a Bernie. Probably they'd be happy with a Mayor Pete or a Cory Booker. He's liberal, but not quite as liberal as the others. Bloomberg, they'd probably be thrilled with the Bloomberg.
Mm.
All right, so if it's a Bloomberg-Trump election, I don't think Wall Street's going to get upset. If it's those two nominees. All right, so anyway, who is president or who is not president does not make a bear market. It's more than that, so. Let's get to the chart. Well, before we get to the charts, let me do share screen and look at the Vegas odds just quickly. I promised 3 picks. The Knicks actually beat the Mavericks 2 times already this year. Once away and the other day at home. Amazing. Sherry says Biden would be a good choice for president. He's liked. He has a following across the working class and so on, but he's old. I want to see a Democrat that's younger than me, not older than me. All right.
I think
Yeah.
Trump is going to take it again.
You think so? He'll survive. He's a survivor, huh?
Yeah, I think he's going to take it again, and I think he's got a pretty strong following, a pretty strong base. His supporters are going to stand by him no matter what. They may say things in public that are not in his favor, but behind closed doors, I think it's going to be a lot like the last election where people didn't expect him to win and he won.
Yeah, he could win exactly the same way he won the last time, the very same states. Win Pennsylvania, win Ohio, win the middle states, middle America.
Mm-hmm.
That's what put him over. Spoon says, Dr. J, input. Okay, I'm going to give Spoon some input. First, I'm going to give some sporting goods input. All right, so you see my screen, right? Let's see if we can see this. All right, so I'm going to look at the DraftKings line, which is the third column. I don't know if you guys can see this clearly or not. Can you see this clearly, Rosie?
I can't actually.
Yeah, so I'll read it. Dallas over Detroit. They're 6.5-point favorites, according to DraftKings. Something with their starting quarterback out, Stafford. I like Prescott. I think Dallas is going to bounce back from the drubbing they took against the Vikings. So I would lay this 6.5 and say Dallas is going to win by a touchdown. I would pick Dallas. That's one of my 3 picks. I'm not going to look at all the spreads. I'm just going to give you my 3 picks because of, I don't want to spend too much time on this. So pick number 1, Rosie, you're my witness. Dallas, 6.5 points to beat Detroit at Detroit. That's my pick. And now we'll look at the Jets, Washington. They're listed at 2.5-point favorites by FanDuel and by DraftKings doesn't make a line on that. So we'll use the 2.5 points. and we're going to take the Jets with getting 2.5 points to upset Washington. Both teams are kind of at the bottom of their divisions, not kind of, but are. I think the Jets are actually better than the hapless Washington Redskins. So Jets getting the points, 2.5. And my third pick is New England. Let me see if I can find it. I believe they're 3.5 over the Eagles, I think. New England, Philadelphia. No, according to DraftKings, you have to lay 4 points, but FanDuel 3.5 points. I'm going to say it's 3.5 points because I like that odds spread better. But if it's 4 points, I would still go New England. So New England over Philadelphia, laying the 3.5. So Rosie, I'm going to 2 favorites. You want to write them down? New England. Just jot it down somewhere. New England. If you have pencil and paper, we'll do it later. New England, 3.5 over Philly. And Dallas, 6.5 over Detroit. And finally, the Jets taking the points, 2.5 against Washington. Of course, I am not making a single wager. I do not bet illegally with bookies. I would never do that. And I'm not traveling to New Jersey to get a bet in. So I'm not betting. It's strictly mind bets. I'm not putting my money where my mouth is. Now let's take a look at some stocks. You have a favorite football team or not really?
Not really, no. My dad watches football, though. I'm not sure which team is his
He's probably a Jet or a Giant fan.
I can ask him and get back to you. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I'm sure. He probably roots for one of the home teams, if not both. I root for both. The Dow is inching towards my 30,000 target that I've been yelling at the top of my lungs for all this time. It's getting closer and closer, up 0.8%, 222 points. Okay. And if it ever loads, we'll see a picture of the chart. Doesn't seem to want to load, but maybe it will. I'm going to get rid of the VegasInsider.com page, so maybe it'll load better. Chart is not available. I don't know why that. All right, I'm going to go to athx. We'll come back to the. Hopefully, we have better luck with athx. athx has a story too. They have a trial going on in Japan with a partner by the name of Helios KK. He's a biotech firm specializing in regenerative medicine, and their partner is partnering in 2 indications with them. One of them is acute respiratory distress syndrome, odds, and the other one, the bigger one, is ischemic stroke. And the odds trial has been approved by the Department of Medicine in Japan, equivalent to the FDA, for orphan drug status, which means it'll get priority review, and who knows, it could become approved rather quickly in Japan. Rather quickly, I don't even know myself what that time frame is, but it's a lot quicker than the FDA, maybe within a year. So an approved drug in Japan within a year would be very nice to give athx a shot in the arm. I think it could even be earlier than that, hopefully. Again, I don't know the timeline, so I couldn't really stick my neck out on that one. It might be 6 months, maybe a little bit later than that, but till we get the stroke data could be about a year from now, or a little earlier. But we might get approval in Japan of a drug before we get the final stroke data. And that would be a shot in the arm to athx. athx has a lot of things going for it, but most of them are somewhat down the road. The news, yeah, I think it was yesterday or today, I guess it was yesterday, was a boost to the price of the stock, which you notice has been in a long consolidation pattern. This trend line all the way down here would meet up with the support at 122, and it wouldn't happen that it meets up with it until sometime in December, not January, but December, sometime in December. So my thinking was we had at least several weeks till the end of November until we would break out of this pattern. I believed always that we would break out north, not south. However, we seem to have broken out the last 2 days. Now, we do have the 100-day coming in to play. It didn't like the 100 yesterday, and it didn't like the 100 again today. Both days repelled by the 100, but today it actually closed very near the 100. So there'll be a test on Monday. Can it go through and close above the 100-day? That would be very, very important. And of course, we want to continue to make new highs. So if we can take out the high from yesterday of 143 and close above that 143, I think that would validate the breakout. Then we're looking at to take out the high of 913, which is at 152. So we take out 143, I think we're going to be challenging, knocking on the door of 152. And that would take us up to about the 200. The 200 is about 149. So essentially, we get the resistance coincides with the 100-day and the 200-day. We get through the 100-day, we got to tackle the 200-day, which coincides with the key high of 152. And this is a very key high because we also have, if we draw a straight line, we have this high come into play back here in July. So let me draw that line. I think that's what we're looking at as a key test. Ultimately, we have to cross that 152. So we have good fundamental news. The technicals are looking much better. So yes, Stradale wanted me to show this name a little love tonight, and I am showing it love. I see it knocking on the door of 152. So provided on Monday we get through this doggone 100 moving average. Get through to 100, do not touch the trend line like we did today. I don't like to retreat back to the trend line. You got to make a little lift between the price and the trend line. Notice we've tested this trend line before, only to retreat back in. So in the previous test, it never really cleared the trend line. It always had touches of it. And what about the touch? This test. This test of the trend line, we did clear it, and it went up to as high as 203. So if we clear this 152, I think we'd be sailing to new all-time, not all-time highs, but new yearly highs, or 12-month highs. I remember this being at 3, it seems like not too long ago, and I was counting my shekels. Now, I'm not as anxious to count my shekels at the $1.36, but that's a hell of a lot better than $1.22, which you touched just, I think, last week, right? So yes, I am showing this love. I'm happy about the news out of Japan. I see good things ahead for athx. It's just a matter of time. I hope that they don't have to go to the window, so to speak, the ATM, and sell shares at the market in order to raise money. That would be a counter. That would suppress the price of the stock and make it harder to make these new highs. But I think that if they're smart, they try not to do that. Let the stock go up to the $2 level before doing any selling of shares or any further dilution. That would be my hope. So I'm very bullish, athx. Yes, very bullish. Another bullish sign is Cleveland is going to buy more tomorrow, right? Monday, right, Cleveland? Cleveland is another super athx bull that I know through the years, and he's a pretty sharp player. I guess Cleve means you're from Cleveland, right? I never asked, but that's where the headquarters of athx is, Cleveland. So you could drop by and have a cup of coffee with Gil Van Brocklin, GBB. Okay, let's look at some more stocks. What do you think of this breakout, Rosie? Do you think it has potential to be the real thing this time?
It could be. Something that I always look at with stocks is when the volume picks up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's when more people are trading it, or if there's some kind of news out there that's pushing the price up, like a catalyst, that causes people to invest. It'll push the price up.
Well, we've had the catalyst, but we really haven't had the significant volume.
Mhm.
Volume was more significant on the day before when it started coming back down towards the trend line.
Mhm.
This was not a very bullish candle, even though it closed above the trend line.
Mhm.
The candle we made today was much more bullish.
Yeah, I
But
noticed that Mhm.
the volume is a good point. We've not really seen high volume
Mhm.
since all the way back here. The last high volume day was in the end of June, and it was a down day.
Yeah.
No, it was an up day. But that took us up to a high of 168. That was quite a difference. June 2019.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's not that long ago. Okay, it seems like an eternity ago that we were trading at 168.
Yeah.
All right, good point, Rosie. That we got to watch the volume. So
Yeah.
if this breaks through the 100 with volume, that makes, let's say, at least gets to this level in volume, level of 923. I don't know how many. I can't read what the volume is. Well, whatever. We want to break out in volume. This volume today for an up day was kind of puny, but it was the end of the week, and I don't know, maybe traders leaving early, whatever. Okay, let's take a look at CVM. We didn't look at the Dow. Go back to that. I'll give it one more chance.
I remember a couple years ago, the Dow was like 5,000, I think.
Yes, it seems like that way. To me, it seems like it wasn't that long ago when it was 600.
Yeah, so I think that was maybe 2017. And I remember my roommate, her aunt, was telling us at the time, invest in the Dow, and look where we would be today. We made a couple $1,000s 2 years later.
Yeah, back in, I think it was 80, let me see if I can remember exactly. It was about 1982 or 3. The Dow was in the low hundreds, below 600. And some forecasters were forecasting 200 Dow. And I mean, it's a lot of years ago, but not that many, 18 or 19, about 37 years ago. So it went from 500 to, let's say, 30,000 in under 40 years. I think that's a decent move. I'm not, better than putting your money in the bank.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the Dow. This is what I call a Zoom channel, one that's very hard to sustain. So during my midweek report on Wednesday, I drew a line with a little less sharp slope that I suspect it will follow. Let's say a new trend line. It's very tough for it to follow this one all the way up. I think this is more realistic. Even though it pulled away from this line, I think it'll come back down to this line and then go up, follow this particular line up. I see 30,000 by the end of the year. So that's what, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it is. 30,000 knocking at the door with very minor pullbacks. That's how I see it. I mean, look at this pattern: high, low, high, low, high, low, high. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit another little relative low Monday or Tuesday and then go back up. So this is what's been happening with the Dow. We're having this step function type thing. High, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. I think it'll continue like that to 30,000. It might be instead of one day between the high and the low, 2 days, 3 days. So you're going to get quick movements down and quicker movements back up. That's how I see it, as it follows this less steep line up to 30,000. After that, I think we get a more significant correction, right around that 30,000 level. Still not saying that the bull is dead. I'm just saying a more significant correction. Okay, let's plug in. Let's plug in CVM and amrn. I can't do them both at the same time, so I'll do CVM first. And then we'll do amrn, a lot of excitement around amrn. And then we'll also do acst Pharmaceuticals, which is a very low market cap company that is trying to develop a competitive drug to amrn. And I believe that was up on the amrn news, which makes sense anyway. Today we were up 1.5% to 743. I said during my midweek report that we will find resistance at the 100-day, which is about 775. So I think Monday we knock on the door at 100. We say hello to the 100-day moving average. I mean, we have a nice little uptrend going. We bottomed right here. We broke out of the triangle in the correct direction. I think we continue. Maybe we bounce off the 100 the first time we try it. Second time go through it. Maybe get repelled by the 50. But we ultimately go through that. And after that, it's class sailing all the way to 993 plus. So where do I think cel-sci goes? I think it goes up from here and up nicely. And I've been saying all along, I'm going to sell a few shares at 11. I also made a swing trade at 687, looking for 775 at least, if not more. So I'll decide whether I want to, and whether I want to take my profits or not when it bangs against the 100-day. I may, or I may not. I may let it ride a little longer, being greedy, being the greedy old guy that I am. What do you think, Rosie? Should I take my profits like I originally planned, right about here?
I think so. I think it might be a good idea. I mean, if all of your criteria line up, then do it. Sell and get out. The thing is, this is a penny stock, so I feel like the penny stocks are controlled by people who just trade the ticker. So you never know when news can come out about it, or it'll appear in these pump and dump sort of newsletters that go out or chat rooms, and they force it up. They encourage people to buy it,
Right.
force the stock up.
Well, that's not happening here. This is not a pump and dump. This is not a penny stock. It's a well capitalized small cap, and
Okay.
it has a culmination of a study from 20 a clinical trial from 2011
Mm-hmm.
till now. We just ended it not that long ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we're awaiting the conclusion of the trial, which is 298 deaths out of events out of over 900 enrolled.
Mm-hmm.
So we're awaiting that data readout. That data readout, if extremely good, will propel this to many times what it's trading at now. You know, if I say 10 times,
Mm-hmm.
that would be 74.30. Then Buckhead Creek will get mad at me because he thinks it's much greater potential than that. And it does have greater potential than that, but 10 times, a lot of people would be very happy, including me.
Mm-hmm.
Buckhead Creek is looking for, I don't know what, I'm not going to talk to him, but he's looking at higher numbers than that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, nothing is a sure thing. And even though it's looking good, the CEO is very enthusiastic, and the CRO for this company that runs the trial, they're very enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of enthusiasm around this, but there's also some doubt, and you can never be positive of the results of the trial. So let's just say it's a 2-to-1 underdog. You're getting 10-to-1 odds on it, but what actually is a 2-to-1 underdog. So even if your chances of winning this bet are 1 out of 3, that the data will really be good, um, you're likely to get paid off tenfold as opposed to losing all your money. That's what would probably happen if it fails the trial, because everything is riding on this trial. So CBM would go down from wherever it's at before the data to under $1 or around $1. You're basically all or nothing, 10 times your money or zero. It's a risky proposition, and to play it for swing trades is nice because while you're waiting with your core position, you can make a few bucks. That's why I'm thinking of actually ending my swing trade here and let the rest of it run. But no, it is not a penny stock. It doesn't have penny stock mentality. What it has is, like so many small biotechs, is a ton of shorts coming in, feeding while you're waiting for that data. So you have this periodic short attacks on the stock.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening here, and that's why we consolidated from the nines. This was a concerted short attack and brought it all the way down to a low of $6, I think. Right here, $6. I got in, I don't remember where, but right around here somewhere, a little lower, maybe the middle of this candle. All right, so I mean, I haven't held my swing trade for more than 2 weeks, and I don't like to hold swing trades forever. That's no longer a swing trade. So when it hits this 775, maybe I close my swing trade and I ride my core position to infinity. That's likely what I'll do. Um, amrn, we have to look at amrn. Amrn had really good news, and it's anything but not anything but a penny stock. It's trading now at 24. You've probably seen on television that drug advertised. It's called Vascepa, Bascepa, and that's a drug for hypertriglycerides and those who also have high cholesterol. Very, very useful drug. And they broadened their indication. They didn't yet, but they sure as heck will, to make it a broader scope. for who should be prescribed this drug. It's basically the only one that's been proven out. So, having said that, here we are. We made an all-time, not an all-time, but a 12-month high today at 2467. We took out the old high. Where is it? 2391. We closed the day closer to the high than to the low, which is good. It's green candle, not a red one, which is good. It's not the most bullish. Most bullish would have been to close that right at the high today. But still, nice candle. Will we give back a little? Maybe. And if we do, so what? I think this one is a tremendous buyout candidate. Probably for a lot. I don't know what the market cap is now. I could check that, I guess. Let me see what the market cap is. It's pretty significant. It's not that cheap already. Amrn market cap is 8 billion. That's significant. 8.6 billion. So if it goes for 50% more, 36, I would put it at 12 billion. That's about right. I think this one goes quickly at $36 to $38 a share. So I'm not selling. I'm holding my shares. I'm going to be greedy on this one, Rosie. What do you think?
I think it's a good thing to be greedy on this one. Yeah, hold your shares.
Yeah, because the technicals are in play and so are the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Everything is coming together. And the likelihood of a buyout is, to me, is very great here. Very strong likelihood of a buyout down the road. Maybe not that long down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So we could be saying bye-bye to Amrn as a company by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see this one.
What happens to the stock if there is a buyout?
If it's a buyout, you can sell below the buyout price, or just wait for the buyout to come to fruition, and then you get paid off for your shares at the buyout price. But usually I just sell, because let's say it's $38 and it's trading at 37 and a quarter. I'm not going to wait for that 3/4 of a point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just take my profit and get out.
Okay.
That's what I do. I don't want to play games. What if there's a fly in the ointment with the buyout, doesn't go through? A million things could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look at the competition to this one. Acst Pharmaceuticals, ACST. That's an interesting play also, based on the run-up that this one had. Acast. I was in this, sold it too quickly. Sold it at $1.45, bought it at 80 pennies. So, I made a nice profit, but clearly I sold it too quickly. Why isn't it loading it? Oh, there it goes. As it's now above 2, it looks like I sold it too quickly, right, Rosie? I got out of this one because I needed cash to buy something else. And that was my thinking. I didn't want to, I figured I'll take a quick profit, maybe get back in later. I may get back in sooner than later. I like this chart. It's got good support at the 100. It's toying with the 50, between the 50 and the 100. The problem with this is it's got to get past this wall of highs, which it tested Wednesday. So let's draw that horizontal in. Okay, let's draw that in. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit. No, I'll just draw another one. That's better. So it's got to get through this area between, what is it, 227 and 230 something. Gets through that area, then we go on to new highs. And new highs would be a lot of money, a lot of profit, because that would be $3 a share. So I think if we can get past past this high, we probably take out the old high. And this is 232. So it closed above 232. I think we're looking at $3 a share. So I probably, I don't know what I'm going to do on this one, but maybe I wait on this one. Let it prove it to me that it can get across to 232 and then buy it. Not be greedy, because it's been repelled by that quite a bit. Just the other day, right? It got repelled at this high. So 2.25 looks like an obstacle here. And I don't want to swing trade this from $2 to 2.25, but that's another idea. You could try that. I'm just not interested in that small of a pop. People make money that way, but I don't usually bother. What do you think of this one? It's a rival, not a real rival, but it's a similar, developing a similar drug. They're in trials. I'm not too sure about the fundamentals, to be honest. But there's good prospects from what I hear.
Do you read through the clinical trials, their articles and things like that? Things like that before making a decision, or just really? Yeah.
All right, so I think I did most of the stocks I wanted to. ARWR, that's the one that Spike talked me into selling half my position. I only sold 40%, thank goodness. That was when it was at 39, and now it keeps making new highs. Today it backed off a little bit. So ARWR is one that I own. I'm pretty high on it. I'm kicking myself while I gave up some of my shares. Spike was not wrong. That's why I listened to him. I bought it at 18, so from 18 to 40 is a pretty good, run. Take some profits. Nothing wrong with that way of thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm not annoyed with Spike. I'm annoyed with myself. I mean, it's just another shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Right.
StreamYard. This StreamYard is very good for those of you who haven't tried it. I like it. This is how I stream, and I'm probably going to take a professional license on this one. It's not that much money. Rosie, what do you think? Any final thoughts for our viewers?
I think we got a pretty good show. I didn't see a lot of tickers this time in the comments, so I noticed that. But that's about it.
Well, I think it's still good to add, and the answer is I personally do. But I could be wrong. Could back down first and then get bought out. There's no reason why I can't back down to 22, 21. So it's the timing, it's tough. I'm not going to tell you when I think the best time to enter is, but I think there's a good chance of a buyout in mid-30s. Can you do PRPL one day next week? Yes. Remind me next week. I will definitely do it for you, Clarence. PRPL. Rosie, remind me on that one.
Okay, I will.
All right, so we're going to say goodnight to everyone now, and please subscribe to the vlog, to the show, to the channel, whatever you want to call it. Give Rosie and I 2 thumbs up, not 1. Give us 2. 1 for me and 1 for Rosie. But I don't think they can give us 2. You can only give 1 like. Well, tell your friends about us and tell them to give us a thumbs up. Right, Rosie?
Yeah, definitely. Spread the word about our show.
We've been running 500 views a week now for the longest time, a couple of months. I want to get this up to 5,000 views within 6 months. So you're going to have to keep smiling, Rosie. Naeed is on with us. How you doing, Naeed? Are you celebrating?
Good night, Clarence.
Yeah, good night, Clarence. Good night, all. We're streaming live from Long Island, New York, and we're going to say good night. We're going to say shalom or revoir, arrivederci, ciao. Anything else you want to say, Rosie?
Namaste. I was thinking about how to say it in Russian, but I realized
I know how to say good evening, dobre vicha.
I
don't know how to say good night.
Well, same thing, right?
Dobre utra, good morning, or good day. I don't remember. Not too good in Russian. I studied German, French. That's it. Those two languages.
Yeah.
Guten Abend. Good evening in German.
Good evening.
Okay, see you all next week. Don't forget Dr. J on Monday at 8:15. Tell your friends that are interested in Qigong for health. I do it at 8:15 in the morning, Mondays for half an hour, and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. with my midweek review or wrap. Bye all. Say goodnight, Rosie.
Good night.
Stay on with me for a minute.